What's up, you knuckleheads? It's Josh here, and today we are talking some more teamfight tactics. Even though patch 12.13 is halfway over, given the recent hotfix, there are still a lot of questions about what is the best comp if you want to climb rank. This is an aggregated tier list based off of several different sites that provide their data and comp rankings, and what I've done is taken all of that data, combined it, and given sort of a standardized ranking of each and every unit, comp, and item in teamfight tactics. And apologies that this is not coming out sooner, but you can thank Riot for making Vlad and Nami giga OP, forcing all of the data to be skewed, and taking a little bit longer to aggregate all of it. As always, all the data is linked in the description. It comes from these sites and is also based off of tier lists from these high elo players. So we can see that the S tier is dominated by AP heavy users. Mage Soda is a new comp for this patch, but it's still one of the strongest. Mage Rise is also considered to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, comps in patch 12.13, and you also have Ao Shin in the S tier. As far as AD users go, you have Deja, you have Pyke, and you also have Yasuo in that S tier as well, plus you also have a reroll Varus right below that in the very high A tier. The point being that most of these high rated comps use some form of an AP either in Archangels, Morello, or Guinsoo's, which means that getting an early needlessly large rod can be very beneficial. Also, none of these comps are hyperroll comps, which means you're probably going to be pushing to 7 or 8 pretty early on, which means you don't really have to play to econ very hard in the early part of the game. In fact, our highest rated hyperroll comp is actually down in the B tier. It's the Nami reroll. Just below that is Shapeshifter Nidalee, which is also a reroll comp. So basically, unless you're hitting astrals early, you're probably not going a reroll comp in this meta. And I wouldn't even really advise that you be looking very strongly to go for a reroll comp. They're not incredibly good. Having said that, there are options for a slow roll comp at level 7 for units like Varus and Rise. Bruisers seem to be the default frontline of any comp in this patch. Particularly Alawi and Ornn are the two most in-demand bruisers to frontline. That comes after Idis was nerfed into the gutter and basically made the quirky comp dead in the water. But among some of the other comps that are still viable, we do have a couple of assassin comps, being Talon and Olaf Assassin. Both of those are decently strong if you can get the right items. Ditto goes for Warrior Yone. It's still kind of viable, but it's not top tier. And Guild Xayah is still perfectly viable if you hit the right items for her. After his rework, Aurelion Sol is okay. He's still pretty good, and he's much better if you have the mage cap on him, but Aurelion Sol is a perfectly viable comp around Astral Evokers. And then finally, the Whisper comp, which is Bruiser Siphon, is still very, very strong and a perfectly viable comp if you manage to hit on a Siphon or two. So in conclusion, my strategy this patch would basically be aiming to go fast 7 or 8 just about every game. If you do have the opportunity to go for a hyper roll comp like Nidalee or Ezreal, yeah, by all means go for it, but I think it's probably better to wait and hold items to try and hit on something like a Rise or a Varus. And if you don't manage to hit one of them, you're probably playing towards one of the dragons, probably Deja, Ao Shin, or Siphon, depending on the items and the augments that you manage to hit. If you want more detail on each of these comps, you can check out this video right here about all the comps and changes in set 7 in case you haven't been playing that much. And if you want more TFT content on this channel, be sure to drop a like and hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you later, knuckleheads.